Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're another TV episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's part of a season 8 of a series with me tonight, or whatever season this feels like it should be.
A is your favorite minor character turned major, Kerry Carenza on Twitch and YouTube, Kerooseta.
This is Barry from Nintendo Views and Premium Edition Games, where you could find me on Twitter at Hawk Hellfire, and you could find Nintendo Views at Nintendo Views and Premium Edition Games at premiumeditiongames.com or on Twitter at Premium Edition 1.
And welcome, you're joining us for your first Star Wars episode on here.
Yes.
We're talking about Ahsoka Season 1, which came out in 2023.
Yep.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, recording this in November of 2023. So I just finished watching it twice a couple days ago. And because I needed to, because I didn't remember a whole lot.
Oh, wow.
I always try to watch everything twice that we cover in the show in general, just so I get that extra viewing before we cover something. So with this show, I wasn't sure if it was going to be a season 1 or this was just going to be a mini-series upon itself. It proved to me that it's not a mini-series upon itself. There's going to be another season. There better be. I will be very upset.
They definitely plan on that.
That is true. There better be another season or I will be very upset. But the thing about Ahsoka is really, I feel like it's a show where you have to have covered or watched other shows to really appreciate it.
Big time. I think that's been the biggest complaint about it from critics, is that it expects you to have watched some cartoons that I think most people haven't watched.
Yeah, you have. I don't know if you need to have watched all of Clone Wars or Rebels or just Rebels, or if you can still enjoy this without having all that background. I
mean, I think you can definitely enjoy it without that, but it is I would say it's definitely a negative thing about it, is that to fully appreciate it, you need that. And it just kind of assumes you've seen this stuff, and it doesn't do a lot to fill you in. It fills you in a little bit. But I could definitely imagine if I had not seen any of that stuff, that I would be not completely lost, because I can kind of figure my way around at these things for the most part. But I would definitely be like, well, they need to explain that better. They need to explain this better, for sure. And I've heard a lot of people, because I think a lot of people that watch Mandalorian are not hardcore Star Wars fans. They're people who've seen the movies, maybe not even all the movies, but they got into Mandalorian big time, And this is not a show. I don't think anybody's going to be into this who isn't really into Star Wars.
Probably. Personally. So, Kerry, have both of you seen all the Rebels and Clone Wars?
I have, yes.
Okay.
I've seen, I've seen all but the last couple of seasons of Clone Wars, and I didn't watch it like religiously. I kind of watched it with my son when he was like little and it was on, and then it went off the air, and I haven't watched it since it came back. So I missed the last like 2 seasons, I think.
Oh man.
I missed the Disney Plus season.
You missed the best season.
Yeah. And then I tried to watch all of Rebels. Well, I did like a viewing guide where you're just watching the essential episodes of Rebels ahead of watching this, and I didn't finish it in time. So I got through the first, I think, 3 seasons of Rebels. I think are there 5 seasons or 4?
There's 4.
There's 4. Okay,
one.
I got through the first 2 seasons of Rebels and into the 3rd season, I think, on my viewing guide. So I watched like maybe 15 episodes of Rebels.
Man.
So yeah, no, I didn't go into this but I knew the gist from Rebels. Like I knew the ending of Rebels a long time ago, so I knew that. And I think that's all you have to know. Obviously you're going to get a lot of fun stuff if you know more, but I feel like if you just watched the last episode of Rebels, you would have the gist.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I watched a little bit of Clone Wars when it originally came out, but I didn't, I saw the movie in theaters, but then I didn't follow it religiously. And then when they started releasing them on DVD, I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch them. So I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I fell off of doing that. When Rebels came out, I watched it religiously as it came out. I watched it online. I think Disney XD or whatever website had them. So I watched all 4 seasons as they came out. I was hooked. So years later, said to my wife, I said, I never got to see Clone Wars in its entirety. I'd like to watch it in the viewing order, because they went out chronologically. They went out of order. I said, that's something you'd like to take with me. It's a big journey. And she's like, sure. So we watched the entire Clone Wars, and right after we finished it, she was so hooked. She's like, what's Rebels? I said, well, Rebels comes afterwards, and it's the same team. She's like, all right, let's do it. And I rewatched all of Rebels with her, and she was like crying by the end of it. She was so emotional. So Ahsoka was a special series for both me and my wife because she was so looking forward to it. And I love both of those shows. I think a lot of the people who say, well, I'm not going to watch cartoons are honestly missing out. And it's sad that you can't watch something that's not live action because you think it's a cartoon, therefore it's lesser. And there are plenty of adult, and Clone Wars is a very adult. It's not a kid's show. I'm sorry. There's a lot of murder. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of destruction.
Oh my God,
there's beheading in Clone Wars.
What I say about Clone Wars is, you're right. It's dark. It has these dark things that he's murdered, but it also is really silly sometimes. So I could see people being turned off by it. I like it. Rebels for me at first really turned me off. I tried to watch it when it came out. And I was just like, the animation, the art style, it reminds me of the Star Wars Play School toys, is what it looks like. Or it really reminds me of Disney Infinity. It has that look to it. And the first episode, it seems like it was made for a 5-year-old.
The first episode was bad.
And that first episode put me off of it for years. I came back to it for this. And once you get past that first episode, it's really good. Rebels is really good. And Rebels often feels like it's made for, I would say, for young adults at least. Whereas Clone Wars also does. Clone Wars, especially after the first season, really feels like it's more for young adults than for little kids. Like, there were episodes of Clone Wars we had to skip when my son was like 5 watching it because it's like, this is too scary. That's fair. None of it strikes me as for adults the way that like a lot of anime does, or like the Netflix Castlevania or something like that. That's like a, so I could see why some people are like, well, no, I don't want to watch it. It's not so much an animated show as like a kid's show. Like, that's why I haven't watched the Star Wars. What is the other one? The really little kid one they
Resistance.
Resistance. Is that what it's called?
I didn't see that one.
I didn't watch that either.
I haven't seen it either, but it looks like it's made for 8-year-olds. And I'm like, I'm glad that exists, because that's what Star Wars was made for. So it should exist, But
it's funny you mention how Clone Wars is silly, but has things adults, because Star Wars was silly. I mean, Star Wars is silly. It's like right from the get-go. It's got serious moments, but it's also got humor. It's got there's a lot of playfulness to it, and I really get turned off when I see people just like, I'm manly man. Oh, I don't watch that because it's for kids. Oh, how many people have you had sex with? Like, what are you, back in high school? Like, come on, you're like 45. You should be acting like an adult. If you can't watch something and enjoy something because it has silly elements, then I honestly feel sorry for you. Your life must truly suck, because comedy is silly. How many people go to comedy clubs or stand-up comedies or watch rom-coms or just comedy shows? There's a huge market for it because people inherently like to laugh.
No, you're preaching to the choir, but I would say there's a difference between
listening.
There's a difference between like the humor in like the original Star Wars trilogy, for instance, or like the humor in Attack of the Clones, where C-3PO's on the assembly line. That, or he's like, or in Phantom Menace when Jar Jar Binks is stepping in the poopy and stuff. There's like, there's funny and there's silly, but again, it's supposed to be a family movie. It's supposed to be a movie that adults can take their kids to and have fun. And so that's fine. You should be able to enjoy it either way, I think. So, I'm with you. And like I said, I watched Clone Wars and I enjoyed it. And I watched Rebels and I enjoyed what I watched of it. I wish I had time. I just didn't feel like I had the time to finish it by the time
you can go back and still watch it.
Oh, yeah, I definitely will.
Did you ever see the episode with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul?
No, I've watched the scene a bunch of times.
Okay.
Because everybody posts that scene to like,
that's such a good
social
scene.
Media.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, you see, he's using, in Clone Wars he fought like this, but in the original Star Wars trilogy he fought like this, and he's gotten more mature now, and that's why he's able to beat Darth Maul. And I've seen.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So
one thing that also helped me with Ahsoka is that I've known who Grand Admiral Thrawn was since I was like 12.
Yeah.
So, I'm 40 years old. I've known Grand Admiral Thrawn for like 30 years. So that was not when he showed up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Grand Admiral Thrawn, obviously. But
he was in Rebels.
I don't need to be told who he is. Well, yeah, I know he's in Rebels, but I'm saying if I didn't get to him in Rebels, but if I had, it would, even though I didn't, it was fine because I knew who he was.
Yeah. Well, that's
because I've been knowing Grand Admiral Thrawn forever.
The
the Empire.
You definitely should watch that, and even Clone Wars, especially like Clone Wars the last season, season 7, the last 4 episodes, we talked about like mixing things together.
Mm-hmm.
The last 4 episodes take place at the same time as Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
And
I should clarify. I've seen bits and pieces of that. Like I've seen Ahsoka's trial and
that's not part of that. Ahsoka's trial is earlier.
That's earlier.
I know, but I'm saying I've seen that. I've seen her fighting her like fight with Visage Ventress where they did the motion cap with the actual like stunt people and stuff. I've seen some of that. I've seen some of that stuff from the end of Clone Wars.
But yeah, you really like watch Revenge of the Sith with those last 4 episodes, and it's honestly it's like poetry. It works so well. It bookends it.
So I've been in a big Star Wars mood, as this podcast has proven because I have evidence. But because when Ahsoka came out, I got even more into Star Wars. I watched all the Rebels. I watched up to season 5 of Clone Wars, where I just kind of fell off. Like I just got hugely into it because of Ahsoka. I don't know what it was really after I watched the first 2 episodes. I mean, the show is fine. Like I mean, the first episodes are fine, but something about it just like brought me back even more than I already was. And I think that's impressive. Like what it did.
That's good.
And I have to say this because like you made the comment about how like people freaking love the voice actors of Ahsoka. I can say that for a fact. I waited for 3 hours in line today at a convention to meet her to get her to sign my Funko Pop. I only waited that long for Robert Englund. Freddy Krueger. I met a lot of different people. Never waited that long. But her, I had to wait 3 hours. So she got a fan base.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
My legs didn't agree, but yes. But at least the line was moving. It wasn't like in Boston where I literally stood in the exact same spot for 3 hours. This I actually moved around, so it was better. But no, she's got a fan base. She's also really nice too, by the way, the voice actor. So
oh yeah.
So I can say that for a fact. Really nice woman. She's also kind of short too, which she probably wouldn't have worked had she did live action in this. So I kind of get it.
So were they like all there? Was it like all Star Wars people, or were there like some She-Ra people and some?
It was mostly Star Wars. Almost all Ahsoka stuff.
No Sophia the First.
No, I think she might have had it on her poster behind her, but no, everybody in line pretty much had something Ahsoka, Clone Wars. They also, the voice actor for Anakin was there, and the voice actor Obi-Wan was supposed to be there, but had to cancel.
Oh.
So there's a lot of Star Wars stuff.
That's really cool.
And one last thing I do want to say about that is when she, right in front of me, I was like couple people behind, she was signing a poster for a guy, and she messed up, and he already had gotten it signed by Matt Lanter, the guy that plays Anakin. So she took it away, signed a new one, brought it to him to have him re-sign it, and he made some kind of comments like, oh, we all can't be perfect or something like that to her. It was just funny. I'm like, this feels like you guys are playing your characters almost.
That's funny.
I'm like, this is awesome. I mean, you worked together for all those years, so I get it.
Yeah.
But it was pretty damn funny that he made that comment to her. I'm just like, ah. But yeah, no, that was hell of an experience today. It was kind of funny that it happened on the same day we're doing this recording, which was not planned, by the way, in advance by me, actually. It just kind of happened. But no, I mean, it's
what convention were you at?
Twin Cities Con in Minnesota.
Oh, cool.
It's actually we've had it for 3 years now in Minnesota. We kept losing all our conventions. We had Wizard World that left. We had Fan Fusion that went 2 years and left. We had Galaxy Con that went like a year and left. And now this has been here for 3 years so far. So I'm hoping and it was huge this year. So I'm hoping it keeps coming.
That's really cool.
Because we need a convention up here. There's enough people. So that was, but yeah, I mean, and that just more fueled me into liking Ahsoka and more into Star Wars. But I mean, this show, so I wasn't sure what to think. Like, so as I was saying, like how the show just really grabbed me. But and again, it just fueled more of my Star Wars fandom that I'm getting into. Like with this show, I mean, the way it kind of starts off. I mean, So I've always been a big fan of Sabine. I remember seeing this, and I feel like I guess it does give us enough, like, with Star Wars. I mean, yes, you're dropped into the middle of something, but there's enough as long as you know some stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Like, you get enough context, right? They're having this parade or rally or whatever party. I don't know, whatever it's supposed to be. It's kind of a parade. It's kind of like a standstill parade. I don't know what you call it. Rally in her honor to commemorate the time that she helped save the planet, right? Or the society, or the city. We're told that much. And we see the mural that is, straight out of Rebels. And even if you hadn't seen Rebels, you can probably infer, okay, so these are the people from this other show I haven't seen. Because you at least know that Rebels is a thing if you're watching this, I'm sure. Even if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, and you're most likely have seen Mandalorian season 1 and 2 and all that. And you have enough, or 1, 2, and 3, and have enough of, like, what's going on to understand where you're at with this. most
Yeah,
likely.
though I wish they would, though. I wish Star Wars would like give some dates on their stuff sometimes.
That would
Because
be
you
nice.
kind of have to go online and Google a little bit to find out when things are happening in context with what sometimes, you know. I like with Star Trek, you got the star dates. You just be like, all right, so it's star date, boom, there we go.
Which is what I do, by the way. I went and Googled when this takes place, because the first time we see Ahsoka, we see Rosario Dawson play Ahsoka in live action, is Mandalorian Season 2, and then we come back here, which just takes place like a year after, because this takes place during Season 3, so maybe not even a year. It doesn't say. I was looking up a little bit, but now I can't remember what it said on the internet.
Yeah, she's going after that Elspeth, is that what her name is? Something
Morgan Elsbeth.
Morgan Elsbeth, right. Morgan Elsbeth is on that like planet acting as she's basically kind of like living as like a warlord with some old.
I really want to go back to that to see if they mention anything about her being a witch or anything that like will stand out to me.
Yeah, I don't remember them doing that. I mean, I don't remember anything, but when she turned out to be a Dathomiri witch, I was like, oh hell yeah, that's awesome. But I don't remember them. I feel like, I don't know, they may have mentioned it. I don't think so though. I wonder if they intended that when they introduced her there.
I'm assuming because they mentioned Thrawn right away and how she's trying to rescue Thrawn, and
yeah, but I mean, I wonder if
I don't think she was actually trying to rescue Thrawn anymore, so I don't think that was the real motive.
I wonder, like, I mean, when, like in Rebels, they don't mention the Dathomiri having anything to do with Thrawn, right?
No, but they're also all dead at that point already.
Right.
Because they're all killed during Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And in Rebels, there's an episode where they go to Dathomir, but.
So are they all dead by that point?
At least they're presumed dead. You know, like because Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jedi Fallen Order. You go to Dathomir, right? But there's people there when you go to. But it's like they're like zombies.
But Fallen Order comes before this, so
yeah, it does. Fallen Order is like 10 years before this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like that part of that. That's like I said it was like the only part of like Fallen Order that was like difficult was the Dathomir. Dathomir was kind of like a difficult part of the game for me,
especially escaping.
Yeah, getting out. Yeah, exactly.
So it's just cool to see them bring them back because I never knew who the witches were until Clone Wars and Rebels. That was my first experience anything with Dathomir. Like I remember being so cool when I saw it in Clone Wars and then when I saw it in Jedi Fallen Order. What is the original, like, what was the first thing of that? So
I don't know for sure. The first thing I remember for it was a book from when I was like, from the 90s called The Courtship of Princess Leia, where Han Solo and Leia and Luke all kind of separately end up, Luke ends up on Dathomir completely separate from Han Solo and Leia, and they have like their own separate adventures on Dathomir. And there's like a civil war or something going on between like the Dathomiri witches and regular Dathomiri that aren't evil, but they're also witches. So there's like the Night Sisters or whatever. That's what they're called, right? The Night Sisters.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's the Night Sisters, and then there's just like regular Dathomiri witches who use the Force but aren't evil.
Maybe they're just Wiccan loving. God bless.
Yeah, that's how they're portrayed. They're portrayed as kind of just like pagan Force users. But I remember liking that book a lot. It was, I mean, I don't know how it holds up. I've gone back and re-examined some of those Star Wars books I loved as a kid, and I was like, ooh, this writing's a little dodgy. Some of it, but some of it's still really good. Some of it holds up actually. Like the Heir to the Empire, I think holds up, for instance. And I haven't re-examined Courtship of Princess Leia though.
I wouldn't hold my breath on some of those books. So.
I would say that a Jedi Academy trilogy, I thought that was high art when I was 12. Man, that is garbage. I'm sorry, Kevin J. Anderson. I'm sorry, I've read some of Kevin J. Anderson's newer stuff. He is a bad writer. I'm sorry, he's just bad. Like, I love the Jedi Academy trilogy when I was 12, though, man. That was the very first Star Wars book I ever read, other than like a Ewok adventure like picture book I had as a kid. My first Star Wars novel was Jedi Search, that first Jedi Academy trilogy book. They set up Admiral Dela. And
so you've just been reading too much really good science fiction, Fifth Civilization science fiction by Peter Bingham Pancras. So that's why you see you just couldn't.
Into the show, Peter Bingham Pancras.
Gotta give him a plug.
I'm reading his third novel, Beneath the Vanished World. It's really good, really good.
So Rosario Dawson, I don't know why I cannot say Rosario Dawson. She grew on me especially as this season went on. Like I didn't like her at first because I really like Ashley Eckstein, but I get why they casted somebody else. Like I get it. She's a voice actress. I mean, I know she's done some acting, but she's also kind of short, so it might not work for Ahsoka. But I can say I met her, so I can say that now. But like, I thought Rosario Dawson did a really good job in this show for the most part. Like once she gets it, like as the show progresses, and I appreciated it.
I'll agree that she grew on me. At first, I definitely did not care for her in The Mandalorian as Ahsoka very much. I don't think that she's the best action actor. If that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
like her stunt fighting is not best compared to, well, especially when she's, the thing is the actress that plays Morgan Elsbeth is a professional stunt woman and a like lifelong martial artist.
Her godfather was Bruce Lee.
Yeah, her godfather is freaking Bruce Lee. And so Rosario Dawson it looks like an actor trying to do stunt work with an actual stunt person. And it just doesn't fit, but that's not really her fault. That's not what she's hired for. That's not her job. And yeah, I think she grew on me. Like I said, I had a crush on her since, I guess, Clerks 2, right? I guess that's like 2008. So yeah, Clerks 2. I mean, I'm not going to be gross like I had a crush on her since Alexander. So that is definitely recommend checking that performance out. But anyway, I think she's really good in Clerks 2, and I like her. She's great in Rent. And then I'm trying to think of anything else I've seen her in besides that and this.
She's in Sin City, but if you've never seen that, keep it.
Oh, that's right. She's in Sin City. Yeah, Sin City's not bad.
Don't listen to my review then.
I'll tell you what. I haven't seen.
Worse.
I'll say I haven't seen. Yeah, I've heard the sequel's bad. I haven't seen Sin City since I was like 22 years old.
Oh,
and the prime
keep it that way.
Sin City. So yeah, it's probably best left in the past with like 300.
Don't go back. We watched it a few years ago on this podcast, and I fucking hated it. So
yeah, I know. I recall. I was trying to think of what. Oh, she's in Clerks 3 briefly, but spoilers. But
she's there.
Never seen Clerks 2 or 3.
Oh, so
I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, but I'm not like a blind Kevin Smith fan. I can recognize when he makes a turd. I love Clerks. I love Clerks 2. I think it's one of his better movies. Clerks 3, I really enjoyed. It's one of those where I'm like, man, I love this. It's not very good, but I love it.
I thought it was great. We saw it in theaters, and we all cried our eyes out.
Exactly. I cried like a baby during Clerks 3. I was like, this is a really well-written movie. I think maybe there could be a better he could maybe hire a cinematographer, but that's okay. I liked it. I definitely liked it. I watched it twice. So
Kevin Smith's movies are more for the characters than the cinematography.
Yes, that's true. But it felt like he went backward a little bit. But still, it was good. It was good. It was a good movie.
One thing that upset me with Ahsoka, but this is a me problem, not the show's problem, is that I want to know where the fuck she was during episode 4, 5, and 6, because like the end of Rebels, which I didn't realize this takes place well after, like it takes place years later, that very last scene in Rebels where you see where she's wearing the white Gandalf cloak.
It was after Return of the Jedi.
Ah, yes.
Yep.
And then it comes to this show, which you find out it's been years that she stopped training Sabine. And it isn't until like one of the last episodes, might even be the last, probably second to last episode, you find out why she stopped training Sabine, because all Sabine's family was murdered when Mandalore gets destroyed. Which I did like that little touch.
Well, it's kind of weird where she was, because technically she was dead, but then she came back to life. So,
but
I guess
did she?
I guess you could say when she came back, she just didn't get involved. She kind of laid low and worked with Sabine during that time period.
I just want something of that to be like, yeah, this is where like something, because I remember watching Rebels and she dies. I'm like, oh, okay, you put the character away because you have to, and then they bring the character back in the last season. And I'm like, explain to me, please. So, but
that's where she was. She was training Sabine. She knew she couldn't go up against Vader, plus the emotional baggage, and that was the whole point of the episode where she, talks with Vader, because she was not strong enough, and he never finished her training. And she had those doubts, and she was scared because she saw what her master became, and she was scared, and that held her back because she didn't want to go down that road too.
You just helped me. Okay, I feel better now. Thank you, Barry. You actually explained it. I didn't even think about it that way, but thank you.
That was the whole point of the whole thing. He was trying to teach her, like, you don't have to become me. You can do your own thing.
Yeah.
And one thing that, as I watched the show the second time, like the more I realize and the more I don't really think Morgan Elsbeth is actually, like, I don't think anybody's motives in this are what you think they are. Like, Morgan Elsbeth, I don't think is after Thrawn. I think she's actually after the Great Mothers and to bring the Dathomir witches back to this galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, I think she sees Thrawn as a means to that end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And maybe Rebels explains this, but how does anyone know where Ezra and Thrawn are? Because didn't Ezra
They have no idea.
He took
They
Thrawn.
have no idea.
Yeah. So why did? Well, but they do. They
map.
find them. The map.
They use the map.
But why would the map tells them where the homeworld of the mothers is, where the Dathomir homeworld is. That's what it is.
She's been communicating with the mothers. That's how.
And they told her. Okay.
Yeah, there's one line about it where she makes comment about said you answered my calls through the Great Void or something like that.
That's right. Okay, she's been communing with the Great Mothers. They told her, "Hey, this Thrawn guy is here, by the way," and she's like, "Oh, great." Okay.
And it's in Mandalorian where Ahsoka finds out that they're looking for Thrawn.
Right.
Ahsoka's just trying to stop Thrawn, where Sabine's motive is to go rescue Ezra, which also makes a little bit of sense because Ezra's the only family member in any shape or form she has left because everybody else is dead except for Hera.
Yeah.
No, Zeb isn't dead. Thank you very much.
Why is he not in the show? But
he should be, but he's not dead.
So isn't he? The thing is he's listed as being in the show.
He's in Mandalorian season 3 in one spot.
Yeah, he's in one scene in Mandalorian season 3, and he's on like the painting.
That's it. Okay, because he's listed as like a member of the show. I wonder if he had a scene that got cut because he's listed as being in the series, like on IMDb and stuff.
You know the one scene where Hera shows up with several X-wings. Mm-hmm. I was praying Zeb was in one of them. Like that would be a perfect spot for him. To be there, and it would work canonically because he's an X-wing pilot at this point.
Right. Like
put him there. Like that would have been great.
I wonder if maybe their CGI budget was low. And they're like, all right, we can't render the Zeb scenes.
Maybe, but you know what?
So I feel like you could have done a prosthetic, like you did with Ahsoka.
I mean, what they did in Mandalorian season 3 looked amazing. Like it was perfect, and
it was.
I think I hate when you say like, oh, the CGI budget was low. This is Disney and this is Star Wars.
Well, I know, but
it's like we need like an extra $2,000 or $5,000, whatever, to make this look good. Like, just do it. You print money.
I agree. They should. I'm not saying they shouldn't.
But they're cheap.
I'm saying
look at Marvel, for example.
I don't know what their confidence was in it.
Go watch Ant-Man. I don't know. That'll answer your question right there. The new Ant-Man movie.
I liked Ant-Man.
I think they spent a lot on it, in Ant-Man. But I agree that it doesn't look great. It looks. Well, I mean, it just looks like CGI. It doesn't look real. It's a problem.
Also, as I was rewatching the show the second time, that's when it really like brought more information to me about Baylan Skoll, or how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Baylan Skoll.
Like I thought like he makes a comment in the early part where like we're looking for power, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna get power with the Empire, but it isn't until later on you realize it has nothing to fucking do with the Empire.
No,
Thrawn's just a mean to an end for him.
Yep.
Like, he don't get it.
Yeah, he just wanted to get to that planet, and we saw like where he's on his last scene. That statue that he's on, that's like a callback to is that from
that's from Clone Wars and Rebels.
That's from Clone Wars. It's in Rebels also. Okay.
There's a scene near the end in Rebels.
And so it's that like ancient like pre-Jedi like order, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the father, the sister, the brother, and the father.
Yeah.
And the balance of it all, and the sister's statue is destroyed because the sister saved her. She like lost her life. She saved Ahsoka, but died in the process. And that's why the owls are there, because that's like, I forget the owl's name now, but that's like her spirit like looking on.
Yeah, I'm really sad that we're not gonna. I mean, I wonder if they're gonna recast him or if they're just gonna like cut that thread.
They have to recast him.
They have to recast him.
I feel like they have to recast him because he was such a man. But
that was sad that we lost.
That was
Parker.
Ray Stevenson. Ray Stevenson was so good in this.
Mm-hmm.
He was so good. Like everybody was talking about like Force Daddy, like. He was just so good in this. Like I wanted an entire series about him.
Yeah, I hate when they do recast too, but like in a case where like this, it's like you have no choice. Like
because it's like it's either you recast him or you just like leave that plot thread and
I don't think you can.
It seemed like it was such a big part of what.
You do an animated version or something.
An anime of it, yeah.
I think it's too big of an arc for what's going to be the second season of the show. You don't have a choice.
Oh, no, you have to recast and just keep going because that's one of the loose ends.
Yeah. I also think like the way that they show like Sabine in the beginning where she's running away, I think that also really connects well to her making the decision not to destroy the map to stop them from getting Thrawn because meeting Ezra is more important to her because that's her whole goal.
Yep.
I think they did a good job of that. Like, yes, you could say, well, she's not looking at the big picture, but no, she's looking at the picture that matters to her is saving Ezra. Not so, I mean, she probably thinking we stopped Thrawn once, we'll stop him again. He's got a lot less now than he did then.
I mean, for anyone listening to this right now, raise your hand if you've never done something stupid for a selfish goal. We've all done something that we knew was wrong or that was not the right choice, but it fit with our personal goal or what we were trying to achieve. We've all done it.
Yeah, 100%. No, I totally got that when she did that. I was like, no, that completely fits.
I mean,
I was gonna think, by the way, Skull. You could totally do Liam Cunningham from Game of Thrones.
I want Neve Shriver or whatever from.
Yeah, Lee Shriver could be good for two. I think Liam Cunningham like looks just like him almost, and he's got that same like kind of gruff like fatherliness to him. He's Onion Knight in Game of Thrones. I can't remember his name, but the character's name is Davos Seaworth. That's it. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh yes,
the book.
Davos Seaworth, the Onion Knight. Yeah, with his four fingers. Yeah.
I really appreciated him in this because I was trying to think if he's a Sith, but he's not a Sith. And
no, he's not. They think like someone accuses him of. I think Ahsoka accuses him of it. And he's like, like laughs at her.
He even has an orange blade. He doesn't use a red one.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
it's orange.
That was orange.
Exactly, it's orange. Yes, thank you. It is.
That's
what I said. I was watching with my son. I was like, look, his blade is orange. You see that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, see, he's not completely dark side. He's something in between.
Is his apprentice orange too, or is her red?
Hers, I think.
I thought hers was red. Oh, is it orange? Okay.
I thought it was orange. It could be red.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know a lot of theories were that she was going to turn, she was going to become a good person. She was going to turn to the light. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they kind of seemed to push her more towards the Sith.
But I could see her coming around eventually. She makes me think a lot of Ben Kenobi. What is his name? Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
You know, of like someone who has the potential to come away from that.
You mean Ben Solo?
Ben Solo. I call him Ben Kenobi. Yeah, Ben Solo. Sorry. Hey, I've been drinking. I just finished my beer. Ben Kenobi there. Jason Solo.
Oh, I did laugh because I had forgotten this when I watched Rebels the last time. When I first get introduced to Hera's son, I'm like, oh, Jason. I'm like, well, we're never getting Jason Solo apparently. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you made sure that arc, that idea from the books is crushed and gone. I'm like, thank you.
I mean, they like I said, they did Jason Solo. They did his whole arc.
Yeah, but I'm assuming Jason Solo in the books doesn't go and whines as much. So I'm assuming.
I don't know. I like Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's one of the Adam Driver's one of the few things I'd say from those sequels. but I hear you.
Hey, you know what? The Mandalorian verse is setting up the sequel so much better to make so much more sense. Like I'm assuming with Thrawn coming back, there'll be a war, and that's why they decommissioned the military because they're like, we're not doing this again.
I think this show in particular, yes, because I think we did has the Force Awakens episode dropped yet?
At the time of hearing this, yes.
Yes, so in
reality, no. But at the time you're hearing this, yes.
I'll say, when we recorded that, one of the things we talked about was that's, we liked Force Awakens. We were positive on it, spoilers. But we, one of the things that we didn't like was like how the New Republic is just like non-existent almost, basically. Yes. And it's like, but this show, that particular like scene from like, I think it's like the 6th or 7th episode where Hera has to like go on trial, basically. Yeah. She's like being court-martialed almost, or maybe that is. And then C-3PO comes in and saves the day, which was great. I loved it. That scene. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's the first 4 episodes of this show are all the lead up to when they finally almost jump to the other universe, other galaxy.
Yeah. Right. So it's the 4th episode. But yeah, it's that episode perfectly sets up. I'm like, okay, no, I could see them being 10 years from now, I could see them being exactly in the state of affairs at the beginning of Force Awakens.
I mean, and
because you got this Weasley little senator who didn't fight in the war, and you can see how 20, 30 years after the Civil War, the government would be filled with these guys.
But even like that, I don't remember what episode it is. The one where they go to the supply plant or the factory, and the guy's like, for the Empire! And I was thinking to myself, maybe you should shoot first, then yell, not yell and then charge. Don't work out very well.
Gotta make sure what they know.
What they said, though, is true, though. You can't just go from the Empire to a Republic. Sorry. You're going to have to fill it with people who were previously loyal. and they still are loyal, and
very-
that's the problem. And like that senator, you could like in that scene, the court scene, you could tell he was loyal to the Empire. Like you could absolutely tell.
The trial.
Yeah, I figured it was late, but you could tell like that senator was for sure, for the Empire. But my biggest thing, like talking about Force Awakens, and everyone gives the prequels shit for having politics, and I'm sorry, I like the politics. I think it's needed because it's a very political story. With Force Awakens, I hated that the New Republic was virtually non-existent and the planet was blown up. And I know there was a whole storyline with the one woman who goes there to plead for assistance, and you see her get blown up. But that's all, the only scene you see her in the actual movie.
Yeah.
And I hate that whole thing was cut off. And like I thought when I saw that, I'm like, they just destroyed Coruscant. Like what the heck? And it's like, oh no, it wasn't Coruscant. They changed.
It should be Coruscant. We talk about that. We talk about that in our episode that it's dropped by now. But we talk about that. It should be Coruscant. But they didn't make it Coruscant. And they didn't because Kathleen Kennedy or somebody at Disney was like, but we want to have Coruscant in our pocket for when we want to use it later. So you got to blow up some other random ass planet.
I'm actually glad it wasn't, because that would have really pissed me off. Especially because that's the whole screen time. You get it with no defenses. It just happens. Like, what the heck? Mm-hmm. And I felt... you see episode 6, right? You see the rebellion win. You see the birth of the New Republic, and then just for it to be crushed in like one scene, it's like, wait a minute, I've been waiting since 1984 or 1983, for this, and you give me one scene. I want to see what happened. The good guys won. I want to see.
Well, maybe we're gonna get some movies that take place in between this and Force Awakens.
I hope so.
That'll tell us what's going on. Maybe.
Well, like, it was
I agree. We need to know, but I think that
I was gonna say, I think of Mandalorian season 3 had that one episode that was like all on Coruscant, and I know some people didn't like it, and I loved it.
That was the best episode of that season.
It was giving me exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see how the functions, what changed, how are
that was the Andor episode to me. That was the episode that felt like this was made by the people who made Andor. Like, it feels like Andor.
Yeah.
And Andor to me is the best thing Star Wars has done since 1983. Honestly.
Just to go back real quick, you are right. The Shin's lightsaber is orange. Martok's lightsaber is red, though.
Oh, is it red? Okay.
Yeah, you can tell his is red. You can tell hers is orange.
Whose is red?
Wait, no.
Martok, the dead guy.
Oh yeah, his is red.
Yeah, you can tell when you see if you watch it. You can kind of tell that hers is orange, and Martok's is red, which makes sense.
And so many people were pissed off at Martok, and I kind of felt it was a scapegoat too. Like, is that Ezra? Who is that? And it just turned out to be like nobody.
Well, people thought. Well, no, Martok was an Inquisitor who dies in Clone Wars, and people thought it might be Kanan Jarrus. People were thinking it's going to be Ezra. I didn't think it was either of that, but then it turned out it's just she reanimated a dead body.
Yeah. Wait. Who are you talking? Are you talking about
Martok? Is the guy with the face mask?
Right.
That's with them for the little bit before they jump galaxies that they fight. That he's a Sith Inquisitor from Clone Wars.
Why would anyone have thought that was Ezra or Kanan Jarrus?
People thought that is theory.
But
that was a theory online before they
think that Kanan Jarrus would be running around with a red lightsaber.
Well, people thought it was Ezra because we last saw Ezra with Thrawn, and they're working to get Thrawn.
But he couldn't
and maybe
be over here. I thought.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm not. But that's what people were saying. Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think that's a dumb theory. Like, I was like, well, this is clearly an Inquisitor. He's using one of the Inquisitor lightsabers.
Yep.
Yeah, he's using the Inquisitor lightsaber. He's dressed like an Inquisitor. He's acting like, why would he be anything but an Inquisitor?
You can also Google the name Martok and find out the fucker's been dead.
Yeah, well, that is like, I did not realize. So he was like a zombie?
Yeah, he gets murdered in Clone Wars when Ahsoka fights Darth Maul for the first time and fights Vader and dies the first time.
Oh, that's
he dies in that arc.
He dies
so
in Rebels,
Morgan Elsbeth zombie.
Oh yeah, Rebels. Sorry, Rebels. Yeah,
Rebels.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barry.
So is it Morgan zombied him or something?
Yes.
He was the one that shows up in that one episode as like a third Inquisitor, and like that's his only appearance. And
then he flies away, and then he dies.
Oh, he flies away and dies. Yeah, okay. I didn't.
He dies off screen, but in this, they purposely made sure you see when Ahsoka or whoever slashes him across the chest, you see the purple mist come pouring out.
I never made the connection that was the same character.
Yeah, and I didn't catch that.
Google. And I was like, because I Googled it, because I was like, wait a second, Martok's been dead. Because I also watched I watched Rebels right before I got to that episode. I had just finished watching all the Rebels. I'm like, wait a second.
And you say Martok, and I'm like, that's my favorite side character from DS9. was the name of my rogue in World of Warcraft back in the 2000s.
Martok. Who's Martok in DS9? It's not
General Martok, one-eyed Klingon general that adopts Worf into the House of Martok.
Oh, yes.
Was disgraced. Yeah.
Okay.
He becomes the emperor of the Klingon Empire in the last episode of DS9.
God, that's such a good fucking.
Worf kills Gowron and makes him the emperor.
Gowron was an idiot. He deserved it.
Gowron deserved to die. Fuck Gowron.
But
anyway,
I like everybody. I like Shin a lot. I like that they had Martok.
I loved her. I like all the characters in this. I thought all the characters in this were very good.
Same, and I'm completely, and especially after rewatching it twice, I am completely okay with Sabine doing what she does, like we kind of talked about. But and then that scene when Ahsoka is fighting Baylan, the reason why she loses is partly because she thinks Sabine is dead at first,
right?
And she's not. I mean, Baylan was a trained Jedi, and he's just a good fighter, and she only has one lightsaber in that fight too, where she's used to fighting with two at this point.
Yeah, does she always have to be better than everyone else? Like, I mean, yeah, that's good. That creates stakes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing worse than plot armor, where it's like, there's no stakes here.
Yeah, exactly. No, I thought it was great. I didn't have any problem with that. I want to say I think maybe my favorite character other than Force Daddy is the I don't remember his name, the droid.
Chopper?
No.
Hune.
Hune, yeah.
Hune, or how he's voiced by. Yeah, I didn't know that was David Tennant until we started recording this episode.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. It didn't. See, the David Tennant I know goes, Jessica!
He voiced him in Clone Wars as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, he's in the Clone Wars animated, and he voiced him back then, too.
What is David Tennant famous for is there anything other than Doctor Who?
He was in Jessica Jones season 1. I don't know what he's famous for.
Good Omens.
He's the purple, he's the man in purple.
Mm-hmm.
Purple Man.
Yeah, and he's in Good Omens, that's right. Yeah, I'm not a Doctor Who fan, but I know who David Tennant is. Yeah.
I think look at.
It's funny I'm not a Doctor Who fan either, but you look at Doctor Who, you have, David Tennant goes on to do Marvel with Purple Man, and Matt Smith also goes on to do Marvel, but he does Morbius, so,
Well, wasn't the woman that plays Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was from it. Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan. Yeah, right. Anyway, yeah, Hu Yang. I loved Hu Yang. I loved everything about him. I loved the acting, his lines, his humor. I like this idea that he is ancient. I love the idea that he's like a giant tortoise, If you've ever been around a giant tortoise and you realize this thing's older than the United States, that's crazy. Or maybe not quite, but it's I like that idea of you're this guy that you're hanging out with and you're like, oh, he knew Mace Windu's master, because I think he mentions that, or he mentions something like that. I thought he mentioned something like that, training, giving a lightsaber to somebody. I don't know. I love that idea.
He also tells it like it is. Sabine's oh, you think I'll how to do anything? Oh, you have the lowest force sensitivity of anybody ever. There's no
reason for you to be a Jedi. No, it's a lost cause. Yeah, I like that too.
And he also says
he's just
the phrase that's never been uttered in Star Wars before, but is there all the time. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I love that too.
Love that part. That was really funny. My son loved that when he said that.
I also love when Ahsoka at one point says, "If Thrawn come back, I'll be the heir to the Empire." And I'm like, ah!
That was funny. Yeah.
I appreciate the little touches. I was a little confused when Ahsoka, when she's fighting Baylan Skoll and he knocks her into the water, he kills her essentially. I mean, I know she couldn't die, but she ends up falling into the crossroads, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
Well, I think she fell into the water and it knocked her unconscious.
Yeah, and then she got pulled into the space between or whatever it's called.
You'd be dead. But I guess she's already been dead once too. So
yeah, she was most likely knocked unconscious and close to death because that was a big fall. And if you fall from that height into water backwards, you're gonna hit your head, the back of your head first.
Yeah, I figured she was unconscious, floating in the water, basically. But I feel like she did visit the world between worlds or whatever it's called. Yeah, that's what it is. The world between worlds.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I mean, because we've seen it. We never saw it till Rebels, where we see it. We only see it once in Rebels when Ezra finds it, and that's how he brings her back.
Right.
Well, that was part of the series, season 4. It was all about finding the door, and it took the father, the daughter, and the son to unlock the door between worlds.
And that was where Palpatine is trying to grab him.
But that's what
Right.
this was, right? Because I've seen that from Rebels. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen just like a clip of it. So I thought it was the same thing. Yeah.
Like,
I
I think she's in her head. I think she's actually there because
Yeah, me too.
She
Same.
is.
because
I
she's so
think she
deep
is.
underwater, she'd be fucking dead.
Oh, is she deep when they find her?
Yeah, you see
Oh,
her
okay.
pull when they pull her up. They went pretty deep to get her.
You know, I figured she had maybe just sank whenever they pulled her up, but I don't know. Either way, yeah. When she was there, I figured she was actually there. I figured, being, a Force user and all that, there's like especially one who's been there before.
Yeah,
We also, Anakin could have pulled her up into it too.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know that he's still around as a Force ghost. He's not, like, gone forever.
yeah. Can we see him in the end of Return of the Jedi?
he was redeemed.
Exactly. So,
It's not the version we should have seen. I will still argue about that.
I mean,
you mean from the
I don't
special
think Sebastian
editions or
Shaw
whatever?
would be doing this still, so.
No, but I just get upset that they changed so much in Return of the Jedi. But that's neither here
In
nor
the,
there.
well, yeah,
Yup.
only in like the special editions, which
The only edition you can watch now, unless you have other ways. The only edition they'll
I'm
sell
telling
you.
you, the Laserdisc rips that have no edits but are remastered are on the gold box DVDs, and they're on Amazon for like $10-20.
Oh, never mind then. Okay, that's cool.
There you go.
Episode 5 surprised me. That's the one that is got to be the best episode of the show,
Mhm.
and that's
Is
where
that,
that's where she's in a different world.
oh right, where she's in the world between worlds, yeah. And
Yes, you have all the Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah, that is very good. Yeah,
Man,
That was so beautifully shot, beautifully done. Like even like when Anakin's like approaching her when they're fighting, the glimpses of Vader as he's calling upon the dark side to fight her and see how she reacts to it. Like it was so well done.
yeah, I thought it was really good, and how they changed the actors playing her depending on what time she's in. Yeah.
Did you notice that when she and he were fighting, their eyes changed? Like Anakin's eyes became Sith eyes as he was pushing it, and so did hers. And that's what she was scared of becoming until she fought back. And like I like that little subtle change they did.
Same. I didn't see that the first time. It wasn't until when I rewatched it that I saw that, and just the fact, like a little thing, but they got the outfit and the hair right too for Anakin, which made me smile because it's. They changed it too. You get the hair from early Clone Wars, and then you get the hair from later Clone Wars, and I mean, small thing, but I really appreciated it. Yeah,
no, it was really good. All those little touches, and I feel like there's something about like the actress that plays the kid version of her.
She did a good job.
Well, yeah, I can't remember what it was. I feel like there was like some Easter egg there.
She is also young Gamora.
That's what it was. Yeah, that it's young Gamora from Infinity War.
Yeah, and she also was in Barbie, the Barbie movie too.
Yes, yeah, that's what it was. Though, is that she's got that she was young Gamora. Yeah,
I'd love to see a live action Clone Wars with her and Hayden Christensen.
Same.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
We finally got.
She's old now, but
yeah, but I mean, I'm assuming D8. I mean, they did D8. They had to D8 him for this, but yeah.
Yeah,
I would say just recast. As much as I like him, just recast somebody else.
I think so too. I think
just you don't have to pay all the CGI, but they won't do that. So ever since Solo, they're done recasting.
Yeah, that's true. Look at all the shit that happened with Solo.
Yeah,
which we talked about too.
And especially after this episode and seeing the two of them together, there will be infinite comparisons. This was better. They should have kept this. You have the internet, so people are always going to complain, but now they have a voice to do it and a spot to do it. So it's they almost like damned if they do, damned if they don't. They either do it with CGI, with de-aging, and it's going to be expensive, and they may not do every scene perfect because there's going to be that one person that says the whole movie's great, but in this one scene, you could see slight wrinkle here, and it wasn't done well, so the whole movie sucks. And then or they recast, and you have people, saying, "Oh, they should have never recast. Hayden was better. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do him dirty? I'm not watching it. I'm boycott."
People are stupid.
No one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans, and I believe
that is true, though.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
But it's such a good scene, and we finally got live action Rex too, which simple thing, but
and
you had Tamara Morrison's voice. I doubt he's in the costume, but you had his voice at least.
Yeah,
yeah, that was a nice little touch.
I really appreciated it.
And I like that they went to the Siege of Mandalore, and he's like, I don't remember this. It's like, yeah, because you weren't there. And
I love that. That was so good when she makes that comment.
Well, that's because that takes place during episode 3.
I need to finish Clone Wars. I The arc that I got to the arc that I hate the most in Clone Wars is one that's about R2D2 and the other robot, some of the other droids, and they're trying to go steal a plan with some little like frog guy that rides in a mech. And I hate that part. I hate that arc.
That wasn't too bad.
I don't know why I hate it, but I'm on that arc, and that's where I'm like, yep, I'm done.
Yes,
I know I can just skip. It's not like
you never watched the end of Clone Wars then?
I have. I watched all of it once before.
Oh, okay.
I'm just rewatching it, and I hate this arc.
Oh.
And I just kind of fell off, and I'm going to get back. I mean, after meeting Ahsoka today and talking about Ahsoka, I am going to finish it now. So
that's good.
And I will say, like, Ashley Eckstein is fucking Ahsoka. Like, she has a hoodie at the convention. She had a hoodie for Ahsoka. Her hair has dyed like blue and white, and I don't think that's just for the convention. And like, her mother had an Ahsoka jacket on that was actually there. Like, she's Ahsoka. But that's neither here nor there. I had to get that. But no, I just really loved all this Clone Wars stuff, and I agree with you, Barry. Like, just the way you see him change, like the eyes, everything is all so well done.
Yeah, and it's a good lesson. You know, it's a good teachable moment, and she becomes stronger because of it.
Yeah, and do we see Thrawn in episode 5, or is it? No, not till episode 6 that we finally see Thrawn.
6, 7, 8.
And I remember people were upset about that too because it took so long to see him.
Yeah, is it Jason Isaacs playing him in this or no? It looks like Jason Isaacs.
It's the same voice actor. It's the voice actor.
The same voice actor from Rebels.
No, Lars Mikkelsen is the guy who played it in Rebels and then came back in this.
Oh, okay. So they did the voice actor just play in live action. Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
Which people complain because for Hera they didn't do the voice actress. They went and got
Mary Elizabeth Winstead,
which I'm okay with.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's wife.
Yes, and Ramona Flowers, so I'm okay with that. Like anything if she's in it.
I love her, and she sings lead vocals on track 8 or backup vocals on track 8 of Portugal the Man's debut album. So
nice.
Yeah.
No, I like that they brought in the voice actor. And I know some people say like, oh, he's got a little bit of a dad belly or a beer gut, and I guess he's eating well over there. I was like, well, yeah, everyone's dead, so of course he's going to, who cares about that? He's been in isolation. It's not like he's got much exercise to do. What do you expect? He's going to eat. He has to survive. If that's your big complaint. Thrawn isn't known for being like a physical combatant anyways. He's a strategist.
Yeah.
Oh, he's Stregobor in the Witcher series. In the Witcher TV series.
I should watch that one day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's really good. Yeah, he's really good in that too. I was just looking him up on IMDb.
Especially, watching Rebels and how he brought the character to life. It's like, like that voice is so iconic now.
And there was a stupid meme going around where it had the Thrawn from Heir to the Empire original books. It had him playing 3D chess from Star Trek. It had Thrawn from Rebels playing chess, and then it had this Thrawn playing checkers. Like, this Thrawn is fine. Like, he just doesn't have the resources he had in Rebels and anything else.
He does quite well given the circumstances in this. Yeah. I liked him. I thought he did it. I thought he was great. I thought he was always he was thinking he's very much playing checkers. Chess. He
won.
Yeah, he won. He goes out and leaves them behind. Yeah. What are they talking about?
Because no one hates Star Wars more. That's what they're gonna do.
And I was right. He is the brother of Mads Mikkelsen. I'll say he looks so much like his brother, but yeah, he is. He's Mads Mikkelsen's brother.
That makes sense then.
Yeah.
I also really appreciate when they do get to the other galaxy, and the fact that it was the whole reason why Morgan, again, I don't think it had anything to do with Ron, but the Night Mother's talking to her, and they make a comment. And I love how they're wearing the same red garb that you would see Mother Talzin wearing in Clone Wars. Also, I was wondering, why does Thrawn wait so many days before he leaves? But again, the show explains it. I didn't catch it the first time, where they have to load everything from the caverns, and they're not loading cargo. I'm pretty sure those are all bodies from the witches.
Yeah,
probably.
I think that's exactly. People pointed out that they're clearly coffins.
Yeah, and that's why it took 3 days, and it wasn't his idea. They're you're bringing all this as part of our deal. We help you. You bring this.
Yeah, exactly.
And
because if you remember, when they get back to the Star Wars galaxy, in quotes, they go right to Dathomir. That's their first stop.
Right.
They're just using him as a means to an end.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's using everybody. That's how you do it. Yeah. Makes sense to me.
I mean, it's fine. And Thrawn just wants to, Thrawn doesn't really know. I mean, he might have heard a little bit of news, but I don't think he really knows what the hell happened. Yeah, I do like how they're if the Empire's dead. Well, that's what they say, and that made me laugh. That made me laugh hard when Sabine makes that comment to Ezra later on.
Yeah.
I also appreciated the stuff with Baylan Skoll a lot more when I realized rewatching it that he could give a fuck about Thrawn. He was like his whole point to bringing Sabine along. He's like, well, I'm going to honor her. She could be useful. He don't give a shit. He's like, she wants to go see her friend. Bring her along. I have my own reason.
Well, he made a deal with her.
And it
he's
worked
not,
in his favor.
He's not evil.
But also, I think he brings her along because then it gives him an excuse to leave to go hunt her when he's not hunting her at all.
Oh, yeah, that too.
I think that was partly what he was up to. Like, oh, send the mercenaries. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Everything with Sabine was good on the other end. Like seeing her and bringing Ezra back. Like, I like the actor they got to play Ezra.
Oh yeah, he made me very. I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly what Ezra would look like if he was in his 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Seems good to me. I will say my least favorite part of the entire series was the fight scene with Ezra, but in the 7th episode, I think,
when he doesn't have a lightsaber,
where he doesn't have a lightsaber and he's just jumping around and like force pushing a bunch. It was goofy, and then where they're like, she orders them to kill him, and he's like, wait, and the Stormtrooper's like, oh, okay, we better not do what we were just ordered to do. We need to hear this guy out real fast. And it annoyed me, and I was just like, I tried to like hand wave it. I'm like, he used the Force on them, and that's why they didn't.
She's also not their boss.
They're under her command. They're doing what she tells them to do up until that point. There's no reason for it other than it's just bad writing. I mean, that's all it was. It's okay. The show's a solid 8 out of 10. Like it's they can have a bad scene here and there, but I just thought that was a bad scene. I mean, that whole scene I didn't like, but that's okay. It redeemed itself in the next episode, I felt like.
Oh, and to go back to the court thing, because that's around this time.
Oh, yeah.
I am also with you guys. I appreciate the fact that how that works and like that I think it's going to make the move when this is all over. I think we will appreciate the sequels more because we'll have stuff filled out. I mean, yes, it's retcon.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's one of those things of like you make a mediocre movie and then someone comes along later with something that retroactively fixes it. It doesn't change the movie in the first place. It doesn't change. You know what I'm saying? It's like people appreciate Clone Wars more, or the prequels more because of Clone Wars. And it's like Clone Wars being good doesn't make the prequels good. Clone Wars helps you look at the prequels and be like, well, I can enjoy the prequels because now I've got a better explanation than what the prequels gave me. And I feel like, yes, this is going to give us it's beginning to give us already an explanation of how we get to the sequel. This and Mandalorian.
But at least I can enjoy the sequels more than maybe 20 years from now.
Yeah.
You know?
Though, again, I'm going to say, I like Force Awakens.
I like Force Awakens too.
Yeah, Force Awakens was the best of the 3.
Wait till there'll be an episode you get to hear later about other Star Wars movies on this podcast.
There are other Star Wars movies?
Unfortunately. But
I haven't seen either. I haven't seen 8 or 9 since the theater. It's going to be interesting doing those episodes.
Saw 8 in theaters and was very upset. And then before 9 came out, my wife didn't see 8 yet. So I'm like, well, we got to watch 7, 8 beforehand because this way she knows what's going on. So I had to sit through 8 again. And at least 9 was better than 8.
Oh, I don't know that I'd agree with. I don't think either of them's good, but I don't know that I'd agree. I think 9's my least favorite Star Wars anything.
8's my least favorite.
Down. 8's bad. 9, I think 9's worse. I don't know. 9 has a couple of things. I try to always find something good in everything. I can find 1 or 2 good little bits from 9. I can find maybe 3 or 4 good little bits from 8. But yeah, they're just both bad. But yeah.
Don't worry, soon we get to have a whole talk about it.
True. But yeah, no, you're right. And that episode 7, that trial and that Senator Ziono or whatever his name is, like, there's a little snake who wasn't there for the Civil War. Hera's like, what were you doing during the Civil War? Like, what were you were you fighting? No?
Oh, and funny Easter egg, like when funny thing that happened that is stupid, but I think it's funny. When funny about Disney, C-3PO, when he shows up and they got the original actor, they made him audition for that and he got pissed. He's like, why am I auditioning for the role that I played? Like, just
wait, they really made him audition for it?
Yeah, they made him audition and he tweeted about it at some point or something. But
that's funny.
I was thinking if Carrie Fisher wouldn't have died, they probably would have had her show up and just de-aged her.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that would have been.
Yeah, 100%.
But made me sad. That's annoying. Like Anthony Daniels is C-3PO. Like, yeah, he wants to play the role. Let him play the role.
That's crazy.
Disney for you.
Oh my god!
Did he have the red? Was it?
No, later. There's a comic that explains when he gets it, and it's closer to Force Awakens.
Oh,
That was the weirdest thing with Force Awakens because no one really cared about the leg, and he brings it up. Aren't you wondering why I have a red leg?
Then you go buy the comic that came out too, the one shot, to explain why he has a red arm.
Great if he had just looked right down the barrel and been like, check out the comic from Dark Horse Comics. It's a subsidiary of Disney.
I mean, that's the point of it, and sell new toys. That was the other point of it.
No, Dark Horse is not.
No, I know. I was joking.
They are actually again. They're making Star Wars comics again.
But they're not
owned by Disney.
They're owned by Embracer Group.
Yeah, which is
Marvel Comics is owned by Disney.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying.
I'm worried about that Embracer part, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, so no, they're owned by dark money from Saudi Arabia. So.
Yeah, not wrong.
Well, no, I mean that's what Embracer is.
Yeah. Just like the other stuff in the world, like because it's episode 6 or 7 around that time when you see Ahsoka after she almost dies and come back after her talk with Anakin. I think he says something like your time's not up, and then doesn't he break the bridge and then she wakes up, or that he breaks the bridge and then the Clone Wars? I can't.
No, that's what she wakes, and then she wakes up. Yeah.
Jason's I was gonna say Jason Solo, but Jason Hera's son is the reason why they even find her, which I thought was cool because he has.
I thought that was cool too because he has the Force death like his dad. I love it.
And
I thought it was funny also that he just looks like a human, but his hair is green. It's like, okay.
That's how he was in the Rebels, though.
Oh, is that how he was in Rebels? Okay.
Yeah.
They
only show him as a baby, but a young.
That's good. That's funny though. The thing is, just like a human and a person with tentacle heads, with a tentacle head, just has a human looking. Well, it's possible. It's fine. We don't know how the genetics of alien cross breeding works. It's just kind of funny to me.
It is funny to me too, and.
Honestly, if they didn't show him in Rebels, a lot of people might be like, that's cheap, what the hell? But because they showed him in Rebels as a young kid with green hair, it makes sense to have an older kid play him with green hair.
Yes, totally. Since he's in Rebels, I didn't realize I knew that, I guess I did know that he was in Rebels because I remember hearing that. So
he's in one scene at the end, he's still there.
Yeah, right, so...
And also, another thing I want to bring up that I didn't really think about, but the internet pointed out to me, when Ahsoka comes back after her being dead almost, her bride being dead essentially, she has the Gandalf white cloak on from then on.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And I like the idea of her communicating with the whales. She's like, yeah, I don't know if this will work, but we'll find out. And she just...
Oh, I loved it. Was that like a Lord of the Rings reference?
I don't know, but it feels like
Ahsoka the White?
Yeah, it feels like it had to be, right? Because she was wearing gray and she dies and comes back and she's wearing white now.
Yeah.
It feels like a Lord of the Rings reference.
I'm okay with that.
No, it didn't bother me. I don't know why it would bother someone.
Yes, people. Why do people go back to what Barry said? Nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan. I love those horrible damn sequels. I try.
I think there's more meaning to why Baylan Skoll destroys the map when they leave too, more than because I don't think he wants anybody to find what he's looking for either. Like, he doesn't
but I mean, I also think he just doesn't want them to follow him. Like he doesn't want anyone to find what he's looking for. I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do appreciate more that because Ahsoka fights him a second time after she travels the whales, she gets back, and when she gets back there, but this time she runs away, kind of like she just. And she also has 2 lightsabers, and she holds her own against him this time. But one thing that I appreciate about it is she makes a comment where she's like, I don't have to beat you to win. And then she leaves him, and he's like, well, I don't care about you either. I got my own problem. He's just looking for the stuff with the gods.
Well, she left because Ezra and Sabine were in trouble.
Yeah.
So
but she was fighting him to distract him.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And I like how Thrawn's like, where is Baylan? when they're doing the fight, he's like, we would have won. I mean, he's like, we would have won had he been there. Yeah,
and that's the thing. People criticize, Thrawn's like playing checkers instead of chess. No, like he was. How was he to know that one of his most powerful pieces was going to leave the field without him? Like
he didn't.
I think he was totally smart, and he didn't expect Baylan to bail like that.
I mean, even the most genius strategist can, get won over or taken down because things they didn't see. They don't see everything.
That was completely out of his control. So exactly.
Like, hey, sometimes emperors are even overthrown by little cuddly bears because they didn't expect it. You just never know.
Exactly. exactly.
Well, the Emperor wasn't overthrown.
Speaking of Ewoks,
Yes.
how do y'all like the little like snail people or whatever they are?
Oh, I thought they were great.
Yeah,
thought they were great,
I liked
too.
them. I liked them. It was a fun little bit of comic relief. Reminds you
also-
that this is for kids.
Appreciated the Lotho cat too in the first couple episodes.
Oh,
That didn't
yes.
last. I
Mhm.
appreciate that. And it was real. It was animatronic. It wasn't CGI.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
those cats.
when Star Wars is the best when they do that kind of stuff.
I mean, to speak again about Thrawn not being so stupid, he has the whole fucking planet mined. So if anybody comes around, there's mines to stop them. Like,
Yeah.
he's not stupid.
Yeah, he's doing
The
great.
internet's just
I liked his stormtroopers with their like hodgepodge like patched up armor and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Now, some people had problems with the zombie troopers where they were resurrected and fought, and they're like, "Oh, look, this is stupid now." And I'm like, "Well, it makes sense."
there's also a book with that
I
too.
was gonna say it's based off of the books. It's fine.
And in Clone Wars, and when they come back to life, there's a
Yep.
whole thing in Clone Wars where she brings back the dead. Isn't it in Force? God, what the hell is that game? Fallen Order.
Force
You fight
Unleashed or Fall.
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order,
Canon,
yeah.
you fight.
Yeah.
You fight zombies, don't you? Too in that?
When you go to Dathomir,
Yeah.
you definitely fight like mindless like guy. I don't remember if they're zombies or not, but you fight on Dathomir. There's like people who are just insane. Like they're basically like zombies.
It's been a while.
They're like ghouls from Fallout, kind of.
God, it's been such a crazy year of video games. I forgot that the sequel came out this year too.
Yeah, and I played it and I was enjoying it, but it came out like 3 weeks before Tears of the Kingdom, so
Yep.
it got pushed into my backlog. I was
finished
enjoying
it
it.
before Tears of the Kingdom. but-
I didn't finish it in time, and so Tears of the Kingdom came out. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll be playing this game eventually. And it was like Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, Diablo 4, Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield. Mario. It's like, all right, well, I'll get to Spider-Man 2. It's like, all right, well, I'll get to games at some point.
Star Ocean, Mario
Yeah.
RPG.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Man, you gotta be like me and just play
Second
nothing but old
adventure,
stuff and
yeah.
like, oh, new stuff. That's nice. I'll get to that in 10 years.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
That's what I used to do, and now I'm just like,
Well, you're probably smarter than I am, but I have a podcast, so I have to try to make new games for every week, like an idiot. But I am working new games in, Ashley. I'm trying to work in more new games. Like I just played
Nice.
Chained Echoes. By the time you're hearing this,
yeah.
you already heard Chained Echoes, but I just played that. I mean, that's newer. It came out last
great
year.
game. Great
Yes, it
game.
was.
I didn't.
No, that
I
came out.
could not
It came
get
out. I think early this year or maybe last year. Yeah.
No, it was last year. Sea of
last-
Stars
it's
was this
2022.
year, and Sea of Stars is amazing.
Oh, Sea of Stars is this year. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to play eventually. Probably maybe next year. That's what I'm telling myself now. Next year I'll
Prequel
get to it.
to the Messenger. Sea of Stars.
It's in the same like universe kind of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, I think it's a prequel. I think it's about how the world got the way it is in the Messenger. But
Something like that. But I need to play both. But that's next year.
but anyway, Elspeth gets that sword. What'd y'all think about like the green like magic sword?
I liked it.
I'm sure
wish-
a lot. I can imagine a lot of people didn't. I was completely fine with it.
That's great. Mother Talzin blade. Like they make a reference to Mother Talzin. Which
Why wouldn't people like it?
because to go
just-
back to what you said.
It just seems I can understand for a certain kind of Star Wars fan that specifically has only watched the movies that zombies, witches, green magic swords that like are made out of like green magical fire stuff. I can imagine that stuff being a turnoff for them. For me, again, as someone that, as a teenager was reading books and comic books with the Dathomiri witches and stuff in it, none of that stuff fazed me at all. I was like, oh, this is cool. Completely cool with all
I
this.
mean, Star
But
Wars
I can
is
imagine.
fantasy.
Yes, I know, but but to a lot of people, it's
Yeah.
they prefer it just like a little more sciencey than that. I guess I don't know.
I mean,
I
come on.
loved
It was only the first movie where you had the Force and you had
Right.
laser swords and you had telepathy. We can't. Well, God, green swords and witches is too far fetched. Give me that telepathy and communicating and seeing dead spirits. I only want the science stuff.
Yeah. I'm not.
Hey, there are people out there.
I'm not making that argument. I am saying
I
that
know.
there's probably a lot of Star Wars fans that feel that way, that are not like hateful. I hate Star Wars people. They like Star Wars, but this is maybe a bridge too far for a lot of them. The show got medium reviews. It wasn't like this was like a acclaimed. This is the best. This is not Andor. This got like, I think this reviewed kind of similarly to like Book of Boba Fett.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. I might be wrong. About the reviews. I did not hear anything good about this from anyone but like people like me that like this kind of stuff. But I don't know. No, I'm looking at it. It was an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's not bad.
That's not
It's
bad.
a 68 on Metacritic. So, you know.
Oh, another thing I want to bring up.
86 on Rotten Tomatoes is better than the original Star Wars. So there you go.
For some of the, like, one thing about Ezra, if you notice his chest plate looks like it's made out of dog tag.
Mhm.
All the people he killed. That was one thing I want to bring up. Like, the idea is if I want something that explains to me when they landed how the fuck he got off and got into this planet. But that's a me problem, not the show. I mean, give it to me someday. Give me a comic. I will read it. But that's a me problem.
I was fine with that not being explained.
No, it doesn't hurt the show. Again, that's why I got, like, certain things are just a me thing where I just complain and want more.
You know, thinking back about the me problem thing, you mentioned about the fight with Ezra where he didn't take the saber and he was just using like force pushes. You know, when I first saw that, I was like, "Oh, take the saber, you know, go back, you know, Ezra with the saber," and he didn't. And I was upset. But then the more I thought about it, is he didn't have his saber this entire time. So he had to figure out other ways to combat Thrawn's forces. And that's how he did it. That's how he beat it. That's how he survived. So when you don't use a weapon for so long and you rely on other means, you're more comfortable with those means. And in a battle like that, which is life or death, do you go with the method that you're more comfortable with, right, in the current stage, or a method you used to use, but you're still rusty with it?
Yeah, I agree I agree that it makes sense that he would do that. I think it looked dumb.
Well, plus,
I don't think it was dumb. I think it looked stupid. He looked goofy as hell, jumping around and doing his little like force push acting. I thought it was badly choreographed and badly acted. I did not think it was dumb that he would do that. No, I think that made complete sense. Then what was she
would
gonna
also
do?
hurt her self-esteem too. You know,
Yeah,
he had already
she had her
tell.
Mandalorian weapons, though.
Yeah, she had her Mandalorian weapons.
Yeah, but I think
she's
it's
better
like,
with. But
okay,
I think it's better storytelling for her to have the lightsaber.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's better storytelling. It doesn't have to be realistic. It's better storytelling because we're seeing her grow. We're seeing her grow into having confidence as a Jedi trainee, right? Yeah. As some sort, or as maybe not necessarily even Jedi, as a Force. Well, no, I guess it is Jedi. Yeah, I mean she's barely Force sensitive, but she's still. It doesn't matter. We're seeing her grow and learn that she can be in that role in spite of not having very much power. So it's good storytelling that he lets her keep the lightsaber. That's fine. I just thought it was executed poorly.
I like how he made his saber in the next episode, and he used something that only, you know, Kanan did with the hilt. I was like, that's a nice full circle moment.
Yeah, and is it established in, because I know, so Kanan Jarrus, his master's master was Mace Windu. And
I'm not sure. Is it?
Yeah, yes. But is that in Rebels or is that established in the comics or something?
That's only in the comics then.
Yeah, that's comics. Because Rebels, they show Rebels doesn't even show his master.
They don't show his master. His master is seen in the Bad Batch and in Clone Wars. And in Tales of the Jedi.
Which is really good, by the way.
Which is really good.
So they don't...
I looked it up. It's Depa Billaba is his master, is Kanan Jarrus' master, who was killed in the first episode of Bad Batch. And he was Mace Windu's apprentice.
That's cool.
Or she. Sorry.
There's a whole 12-issue miniseries for Kanan Jarrus in the comics that is canon that I want to read at some point. You know, I might go read tonight actually, but we'll see. Yeah.
But yeah, Caleb Doom.
Yes.
But no, I like that they came full circle with that and, you know, with the lightsaber, and that was really touching because, you know, that's his master.
I also just appreciated that he does build a new one. I appreciated how, like, Sabine keeps dodging the question when he keeps asking her stuff, but he accepts it because he was with Sabine for 4 years too. Yeah. You know, so he lets her have her secret. He's like, okay, you know, like you have to tell me soon. Like, we can enjoy this. Like, I know something's wrong, but you have to give me more information.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that Sabine was not only trained by Ahsoka, but was actually partially trained by Kanan as well when she had the Darksaber.
Right.
Yeah, two Jedi man, but he didn't get very far because he's only around she only has the Darksaber for a little bit.
Yeah, right. But he still helped her begin working with it.
Yeah. Yeah, she was my, by the way, she's my favorite character in Rebels so far.
Oh, yeah.
So I was really happy. And I thought the casting for her was great. I loved it. The actress they picked for her, I thought did a really good job.
I agree.
Same. I enjoyed all the actors in this. I have no problem with the casting. Really.
Again, minor complaint that I completely understand why is I feel like there's a bunch of times where, but this is a thing just in superheroes things. It would make so much sense for her to be wearing her helmet.
Yeah.
But, you know, we need to see the actress's face, so she's not going to be wearing her helmet. it's the same.
Yeah.
You know, when you watch the Marvel movies and how much Iron Man's running around without his helmet on and things like that. You know, it's how they, you know, it's how you do. It's
well,
fine.
when he's running around, he usually has it on when he stops to talk. A lot of times he'll just take off the headpiece to talk, and then he'll, jump away and put it on again.
Yeah.
I was fine with her not wearing the helmet in this. I mean, yeah, to what you said, but also it felt more of in Rebels she takes it off a lot too, and that's anime. She still takes it off a lot.
That's true. It still felt there's a couple of times where I'm like, oh, she almost died there, and if she had her helmet on, like there is one time she gets hit in the back of the head. I feel like, and it was like, man, too bad you didn't have your helmet.
So I have a question: Are either of you Yu Yu Hakusho fans?
I watched the early season of it.
I don't think I know what that is.
It's an anime from the 90s or 80s?
90s, I think.
Okay, well, in America, the 90s.
It sounds vaguely familiar, but no, I've never seen it.
There's a scene in the early stuff of Hakusho where they go up a tower and they're getting chased by zombies. And this scene felt so reminiscent of that when you get to the last episode.
Oh, going up the tower with the zombies.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's from the... Somebody out there will get that reference, but I love Yu Yu Hakusho, by the way. I have all the Funko Pops to the right of me, all 6 of them, or 7 of them, whatever it is. But I love the show a lot. Like, I'm a big fan of the show, so I got I got a lot of vibes of that, where they go in a tower and they're trying to rescue a girl and get there in time, and they're fighting zombies and stuff like that. But here nor there, but that's what it made me think of as they're going up the tower. But I like when they finally get reunited, when Sabine sees Ahsoka again, she's like, "You're alive," and Ezra's like, "You thought she was dead?" Like, I love that little thing. That was so good. Just little touches.
Yeah, it's cool.
I seeing them fight together and like all the stuff with Thrawn, where he's like, we can only afford to send 1, or 2 TIE fighters. Like, we don't have the resource. Like, he's like, this is not important. All that matters is we leave. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Where they're like, we got to kill him. And at one point, he sacrifices Morgan Elsbeth, where he says, "You stay here and you fight." And you can see that she does it, of course, but I feel like she does it because she's doing it for the Great Mothers, not for Thrawn, based on the way she looks and the way and things she says.
Yeah,
also,
no, I think that she does have some devotion to him also, because he was like her. They give the impression that he trained her in some way. To me, anyway. I got the impression that she was like a devotee of his, like that maybe he trained her in not forced stuff.
Something like that.
Tactics or something.
There's some kind of reference to it, I think.
Yeah, but anyway, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was also gonna say, like, I had a question for both of you. My brain can remember what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to think what it was now that I had thought about that I wanted to mention, and now I can't think of it. Well, one thing, it felt very much like a video game, and I love that. Like, when they get to the tower, and then Ahsoka's got to stay to fight Morgan Elsbeth, the other 2 have to go. Like, I love that. I'm like, I don't care that it feels video gamey or anime. It's awesome. Like, I don't give a shit.
Oh, I thought it was great, and I loved her fight. I loved their fight.
Same.
I loved how when she takes the Mother Talzin sword, and when she kills her, she slashes her, and you see like the 1 burn mark from the lightsaber and 1 like green burn mark from the Talzin sword, because she hits her both at the same time, and I was like, that's really cool looking. Like, that's a cool little attention to detail.
They were good fight. I really liked all the saber fights in this. I had no problem with any of them.
Yeah,
I know some internet did, but
they're way better in this than when like I said, when she fought her in The Mandalorian season 2, I didn't think it was like, it felt like a waste of such a good stunt actress. It was like such a poorly, like, just, it was not great. I thought it was good. I thought they were better in this. Especially this one at the end was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed all that. Oh, now I remember my question. When you guys were first watching the show, did either of you think Enoch was going to be Ezra at first, when we first get introduced to him?
Enoch.
He's the guy with the gold mask.
No.
Stormtrooper
I never did.
No, okay, like I would never think like, oh, why? But why? It's Ezra.
Because I thought that would be the perfect
evil.
Well, I thought he was either killed or been manipulated to where he brainwashed and fighting for Thrawn. And they're like, yeah, we know Ezra's not out there, so we'll send her out to go look for him. She ain't gonna find him.
I don't know. Like, Ezra is so pure in Rebels. That's so purely good. I could not imagine him turning bad.
That was my thought when I first saw it. I was happy to see I was wrong, but that was my first thought when I saw Enoch, because he had the gold mask on. It just made me think that there was more to it.
No, I actually, when those like raiders showed up that first time, I thought it was going to turn out actually they weren't bad guys and Ezra was like one of them wearing the mask. I thought that at first.
Okay.
Those raiders
that
I
could
like
see.
waylay them on the way there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. But I thought that for a second maybe. But no, I mean, I don't know. It never occurred to me that Ezra was going to be bad in any way. That's why, like, the idea that he would be. It was Marok, by the way, not Martok. I looked it up. I was like,
Oh, sorry.
because I did not hear anyone call him Martok. Yeah, Marok. I thought, like, how? No, he's not Marok. But I can see that. I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. I do. They do definitely. It's very much kind of a Captain Phasma thing, having like a cool looking stormtrooper. Like, ooh, what's his deal? What's going on with him? Or I guess that's a Boba Fett thing too, for that matter.
Yeah,
what's,
I mean,
what's with this like green stormtrooper?
I was fine. I mean, it was just I liked it. I liked the way they communicate. The holograms look different than what you're used to. They feel like it's more of the Night Witch's magic because it's just the way it does it. Like all that, I greatly appreciate. I mean, the scene when Ahsoka and them finally get to the tower and are running up the tower to confront Thrawn and stop him, and you have them freaking like after they kill all the night troopers and they all come back to life. That scene was perfect. So fucking good.
That was really good. I liked when Ezra jumps and Sabine like uses the Force and helps him get across. I was like, there, she's getting it. She's getting it. It's really cool. And then she goes back to help Ahsoka, which I was like, also exactly what she would do. That makes sense.
Yeah, I like how they psyched it and made it look like she had gone too.
Yeah.
And then she just shows up like, no, I'm here. I'm staying.
That was good.
Staying loyal to her master. Yeah, I love it.
And then it all kind of comes back to what the robots, the droid said earlier, where he's like, "You two stick together. You do better when you're together."
Right, which is like also what he had said about her and Anakin, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't. I only remember
that was like a theme that she should have stayed with Anakin. That's like her thing is like if she had stayed with Anakin, if she had stayed by his side instead of leaving after her trial, could she have maybe stopped him from turning to the dark side?
No, because he was already written, but yes.
Well, but right. But I mean, really, like, because he was all alone and isolated, and so that's how. Like, if anybody had just taken, like, if Mace Windu had just been like a little nicer to Anakin,
or if they just would have not like threatened to kill Palpatine at that moment, like little things they could have done to stop all that,
or just talk to him, been like, just like, yeah, it's yeah.
Oh, one scene that we didn't talk about, but I want to go back to in the first episode. When you first get introduced to Baylan Skoll on that rebel ship, when they break out Morgan Elsbeth, and he's like, "You're not Jedi," because they use an old Jedi code, and then I love that when they just murder everybody.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good
introduction.
Mm-hmm.
I also
that introduction was great.
Yeah, it was great.
All the Huyang or Huyang, however you say his name, the droid. All his references to like what the Jedi protocols were, I appreciate all that too. I thought that was just very humorous. Where it's like, Jedi are gone, buddy. But I get it, programming.
Yeah, he's saying Jedi protocol says that we should do this or that. Yeah. I wanted more Hera in this. More Hera and Chopper.
Yo, definitely more Chopper. Oh, Chopper needs more Chopper.
I think especially 2 will be that.
Yeah, I feel I would have loved to have seen like a lot more Hera. Like I would have liked a longer season where we get to see more of what's going on with her.
As long as we get a season 2, I'll be okay. I will be pissed if we don't get a season 2 though.
I mean I feel like they will, eventually.
Yeah, it's not.
I heard they're going to end everything with like a movie, like a Mandoverse movie.
I know there is going to be that's what what's his name from Swingers said. My brain's not working.
I'm fine with that. I mean, if we get like one more, like we get another season of Ahsoka, we get one more season of Mandalorian, and then they go into a movie.
Right. Yeah.
I'm fine with that. But I need at least one more season of Ahsoka before we get to a movie. Like,
I think that's what they're going to do. I think there's going to be a season of Ahsoka, a season of Mandalorian, and then there's going to be a movie that'll bring it together. Though I'm betting it's mostly a Mando movie. I doubt Ahsoka's going to be a super big part of it, but I don't know.
Unless it's going to be them fighting Thrawn.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I also like the fact that, like, if Sabine, because when I was rewatching this the second time, I thought about it. Had Sabine not come back, Ahsoka would have died.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good, like, that you do have her come back.
Yeah. Favreau, by the way, Jon Favreau, so I was trying to think of.
Oh, Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau said they're getting one more season of Mandalorian and then a movie. He said he's already written both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I also think the fact that Ezra is the one that gets home is the right...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That was good, because...
That's perfect.
He needed to go home. They have stuff to do on this planet, but he needed to go home. And him seeing Hera again, and where he's like, Hera, I'm home. Like, it's so good. And they're all ready to shoot him, but Chopper can, tell that it's Ezra.
Am I remembering correctly, or did he say that did he do the Jabba joke again?
Oh, he did
From Rebels?
Not in this.
No, okay, so that was like a joke. People were saying that he should have like identified himself as Jabba the Hutt.
That would have been funny.
That would have been very funny. It would have been funny to people that watch Rebels, and everyone else would have been like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I don't think that would have flew over well with people other than us.
Call me Jabba.
I do like that, but it shows him show up in a ship that isn't an Imperial ship. I don't think, not one that I recognize.
No, it looked like a Lambda class cruiser to me.
My guess is he just stole it off the Star Destroyer when they jumped and just left. Which I'm fine.
Yeah,
with.
it was a Lambda. I mean, was it not a Lambda shuttle like what they fly in? What Darth Vader arrives on the second Death Star on, and
yeah,
what
I thought it was one of those.
Yeah, that's what it
doesn't.
was.
It looks a little different.
I think it just had its
not
wings
the white.
up.
It's not the white shuttle that I'm used to.
Well, it was gray because it was from Thrawn's.
It was an older version too.
Yeah,
you have to remember the one that Darth Vader showed up. It was during episode 6. So when Thrawn had the shuttles, it was like before that too. So it was probably 4 years before that. So they might have changed them since then.
I mean, you guys are right. The wings are the same. It's just the cockpit is different. It's circular shaped and not. Which I just sent a picture in the chat for you, by the way. But it's a little different. So that's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I really appreciate that it's Chopper that realizes that it's him. And it's so good. I think he says, I'm watching it right now to see what he says. But I'm pretty sure he said, I'm home.
Yeah, he says, Hera, I'm home. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he says.
And they absolutely can't leave it at that. But, this also changes things like for the sequels, like where is Ezra during that time? We know Ahsoka's dead, but where's Ezra?
Oh, fuck, she is dead, isn't she?
Well, yeah, she talks to Rey at the end of 9.
With the original voice actors and not Rosario Dawson up.
Correct.
That's true. She does. Though, I mean, does that... Yeah, I guess that definitely means she's dead, right?
By that point, yeah.
Which again...
I'm sorry, it was like, is there some other way? It's like an echo of her in the Force. No, there's no good explanation for that other than that she's died by episode 9.
Or they just act like that movie never happened and retcon everything. That works too.
Or the special edition removes her dialogue. That's it.
Yeah. I like the meme of that where they put in Mace Windu. It's like, kill that motherfucker. Just add that in. Make that meme a reality.
Oh, that's what it should be, or hold on to your butts. Something. I mean, come on. Plenty of lines to go with. I'm tired of these motherfucking Sith in this motherfucking galaxy. Something like that. That'd be all right, But no, I hope. Yeah, I hope she isn't dead. But I guess that maybe she has to be.
She eventually dies anyway. Like everyone dies eventually.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the timeline of when.
It's 20-some years after this, so
she lived a long life. Then.
I mean, it's not. She shouldn't. I mean, she's like 10 when she's in Clone Wars for the first time. So that would be,
she's her birth date is 36 years before the Battle of Yavin,
and this is like 9 years.
This is 9 years. This is 9 years after Endor, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the original Star was 4 years in between Yavin and
something
Endor?
like that. It's not very long.
It's 4 years between Yavin and Endor. Yes. So
she's like 49.
Yeah.
Not that old.
Yeah.
Well, during this, but then take another 20 years. That's 69.
So it should be around 70. Yeah, it should be around 70 by episode 9.
Okay.
So yeah, we don't know how long Togrutas live.
Yeah. Maybe they'll kill her in the end of something.
Yeah,
I mean, at the time of the writing and when that movie came out, Rebels already been done, so they already saved her, so they knew. So, but then again, who the fuck? They were probably like, "Fuck you, Dave Filoni. We're doing our own thing." Until they're like, "Well, our own thing didn't work. Everybody hates us. Here, you do your thing again." Okay. I do like how in the ending everyone has their own part. Ezra gets home to Hera. You have Thrawn arrive at Dathomir with the witches and all the coffins, and I can't wait to see what goes on with that.
Right.
One scene of Balin Skoll, which I didn't catch this, standing on a statue of the father, I think. Yeah.
The father.
And the brothers to his left and the sisters to his right, but the sister's head is broken off.
And
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. And then you
look back at that scene, you'll see the three of them.
Yeah, I just saw the one that he was standing on.
You have Ahsoka and Sabine at the camp of the little hermit crab people, and she sees the ghost of Anakin.
Right.
Which I appreciate. You have Shin Hati running to the bandits for some reason, I guess, because she had nowhere else to go.
To lead them.
Oh, that's what it was?
Become a warlord.
Yeah, I think she's going to lead them.
Okay.
And I'm betting in season 2, it's going to be around the 3rd or 4th episode, they're going to leave this planet and she's going to go with Ahsoka and Sabine, possibly as their prisoner, maybe as a stowaway. But I'm betting she gets back to the regular Star Wars galaxy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or
I can agree with that because we know Ahsoka and Sabine have to get back.
Yeah, we know they have to get back, and yeah, I'm betting that she gets back. Either they capture her and they bring her back, or she comes as she stows away on their ship without them knowing. That's my guess, and I'm guessing 3 episodes in. That's my bet. But I'm betting we get at least 1 episode of her leading those bandits and fighting Ahsoka and Sabine.
You also get one scene with Thrawn when he's heading to Dathomir where you see how many coffins are in that ship.
A lot.
And
Yeah.
all I could think of was Indiana Jones. I was like, I bet they got top people working on that, huh? Top men. Oh, I love that. It wasn't until I watched Family Guy when the Family Guy spoofed it that I was too young when I first saw it, didn't compute. I'm like, oh no, I get it.
Yeah.
It's a good ending. I was bummed because I'm like, damn it, I want more.
No, yeah, I thought it was
good.
I thought it was good ending. I thought the show got better as it went too. I thought the first couple of episodes were good, but they were a little weaker. But then it really picked up. I felt like starting with about the fourth episode where they get to the planet that not the planet where they use the map.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the third episode, I think. Yeah, so I think it was just maybe the first episode that maybe was a little shaky for me. I think it really picked up pretty fast.
See, I liked the first episode because of the whole Lothal and seeing the ceremony and like the highway and like there's so many callbacks to Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked that.
Yeah, I liked it mostly.
I'm glad.
No, it was definitely. I think it's one of those shows that if you enjoyed it the first time, you're going to continue to enjoy it. If you didn't enjoy it the first time, you probably will start to enjoy it over subsequent viewings. And if you hated it, you're probably always going to hate it because you're a Star Wars fan.
I just want to say I can imagine a lot of people that are just like Mandalorian fans not liking this very much, being kind of like medium on it, especially after the first couple of episodes.
Well, because they don't know all the characters, and it's like, well, where are all these characters? It's like
exactly I follow some podcasts of people that are good content people who watch a lot of stuff, but they aren't big like Star Wars nerds, and they've all like have universally been like, yeah, Ahsoka's not good. They don't like it. And I'm like, well, I could see if you're not a Star Wars fan that this would not really be for you. But to me, it feels like coming into the middle of a show and being like, I don't get this. It's like, well, there's homework for this one. And that's fine. But it is definitely, I don't think it's super approachable for someone that's not already a fan of these things.
I agree with that. I remember back in 2012, for example, my mom went to the theaters with her boyfriend to go see Avengers. And she came home after an hour. And I was like, you're back soon? She's like, yeah, we walked out. I'm like, well, why'd you walk out? She's like, well, we didn't understand it. I'm like, well, did you watch the other 5 movies first? And she's like, no. I'm like, well, duh. That's why you have to watch the other movies first. So I get that. Like, if you haven't watched Clone Wars, you haven't watched Rebels, and you haven't watched at least a summary of the events, you're going in to the middle of the story with characters you have no idea and no attachment to. So when you see things like the Loth cat, you look at it and you go, okay, it's a cat. But when you watch Rebels, you get a connection to the characters, to the Loth cats. And then you're like, oh, cool, there's one in live action. That's awesome. Yeah. You know, you see the mural, it's like, oh, the feels come back versus I have no idea who these people are. I could care less.
Right. I think there is something to be said, though, for a show being able to stand on its own a little bit. Like, you could watch Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade without ever having seen, Raiders or Temple of Doom. And I mean, that's like my second favorite movie ever. And I think I saw Raiders like 15 years after I saw that, or maybe 10 years after.
That's almost apples and oranges, though, because you're talking about the third movie, but with a small cast of rotating characters. Really, only Indiana Jones is the recurring character.
Right.
Here, you're talking about a bunch.
Right. You get, once you've seen Raiders, you're like, oh, okay, now I understand who Marcus Brody is. Now I understand who Sala is. Now I get the joke with Sala, and I get and him, and now I see why it mattered that Sala Sala had never met Brody before. So it's like these two characters from the series getting to meet each other. I get it, but I do think there is something I think you could watch Mandalorian without ever having seen anything Star Wars and still really, really enjoy it. I think you could watch Andor without having seen Rogue One and still really enjoy it.
Easily without one.
But I feel like
it's a prequel too.
Well, yeah, but I feel like with this show, if you've never seen at least a little bit of Rebels, it's gonna fall a little flat.
Yeah, well, Dave Filoni flat out said this is Rebels season 5.
Right.
He's not wrong.
But I can also see the thing of that Rebels is for kids. I mean, it's for older kids and it's got some mature stuff in it, but it's definitely for kids. I enjoy it. I can enjoy something for kids, but I know a lot of people that aren't interested in watching that. And it's not that they can watch animation, but that's not their thing. So I can imagine not liking this and still not being like a hateful, oh, I just hate Star Wars stuff. Like I could definitely feel that way. Like I feel like you could watch The Force Awakens and you might enjoy it more if you haven't seen Star Wars. But yeah, no, I do think there's something to that a show should be able to stand on its own a little bit. And that's why I wouldn't rank this a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's good. I enjoyed it, but
okay.
That's just my 2 cents on that.
No, I mean, to go on what Barry said, this does feel like, unfortunately, season 5 of Rebels, which I'm fine with, but...
Well, and that's only unfortunate if you don't like Rebels. And if you give Rebels a chance, you'll see it's totally worth it.
My plan for this experiment was to have my wife watch Ahsoka season 1, even though she's never seen any Rebels or Clone Wars, but that her reply was no, so I didn't get to find out the experiment how it would go for somebody. I put it on, she's like, we're not watching this. So I'm like, okay, we put on something.
Come on, it's only 8 hours out of your life.
Not even. I think some of the episodes are like 35, 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, I'd say they're actually more like 35 minutes, I think.
But yeah, that was the effect I got when I tried. But I think we said everything we need to say other than we should go to Shelf Stacker Box. All right, let's go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Barry, what about you?
Oh, Shelf. Love it. Absolutely. I loved Rebels. I love this. I love the world and the universe and Star Wars in general. And I'm excited to see where it goes. And it's one I can't wait for them to honestly put on, Blu-ray so that I can buy it and have it on my shelf, my real shelf.
I mean, they're starting to.
They're starting to slowly, but eventually, in 2-3 years, maybe we'll get it.
I hope so. I hope they're smart enough to realize like they have to do that if they really want to make money off it. But we'll see. We'll see if they're smart enough. I wouldn't bet on it, but we'll see. All right, now I'll go next. I'm going to put this on the shelf also. I really, really enjoyed this show, and it got me more into Star Wars than I expected, and I went down rabbit holes with Rebels, and I watched Tales of Jedi, which I wasn't going to, but I had to because I needed more Ahsoka, and yeah, I love this show. I thought it was so good. So I'm so happy I finally got to watch it. So yeah. Oh, what about you, Kerry?
I'm kind of undecided between stack and shelf. I did enjoy it. I don't know that I'm going to rewatch it, but I might rewatch it when the second season comes out. So I think it's a stack, but it's near the top of the stack.
Okay. I really hope we get season 2 sooner than later, but I feel like it won't. The earliest will be 2025.
I feel like it's a 2025, almost definitely.
If we're lucky, even,
especially with these strikes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, because the strike's not done yet at the time of this recording.
Right.
Yeah, at least the
early November.
The writing.
The writing one's over. The acting was still going. So yeah, I feel like the plan was probably this is the spring, Mandalorian's the fall at one point, and then or not spring, but well, I guess fall. I'm sorry, fall and spring. I mean backwards. But now I think it's going to be more like 1 year we get this, and the next year we get so I think Mandalorian season 3, if the strike ends soon, will get late 2024, and then this will be season 4. Sorry, and then this will be late 2025. That's if everything continues to go as planned or starts going as planned again.
Yeah, I hope they can get that shit figured out.
Yeah, honestly, I'm worried. Are we ever going to get an Andor season 2?
Yeah. They already have it mostly done.
Oh, do they? That's good, because that's what I really want to see now.
Because they said Andor season 1 was like over the course of a year, and then Andor series 2, every episode is a year, leading right into the beginning of Rogue One.
Oh, so amazing! I think I like Andor possibly more than Mandalorian. I love Mandalorian.
Andor is really good.
It's just so good. It's just so good, and that is also I think a thing is like. If I was comparing, like, this is way below Andor for me, but it's way above Book of Boba Fett or freaking Obi-Wan. It's way above like most of the Marvel series they've done, on Disney Plus. So it's not. I don't mean to like rank it low. It's still pretty high up for me. It's just it's definitely below Mandalorian and Andor for me. But that's a high bar.
Yeah, that is a high bar.
Yeah,
and that's a fair high bar.
Yeah,
you won't hear me. I mean. I know some people bitch about Andor, but Andor was really damn good. Okay,
I don't.
Different
yeah,
Star
I
Wars
can't
thing.
understand. I don't understand people that don't like Andor. Like that's just so good.
I have to quote Barry again. Star Wars fans just hate Star Wars. I mean, I think it's just Andor wasn't Jedi, and they wanted. It's like we have enough Jedi. It's fine to have something not Jedi. So
yeah. Did Star Wars fans mostly like this, other than like incels mad that women exist?
I don't know.
I think mostly they do, but
I think the negative stuff I've heard from this has been from people that are just that aren't like big Star Wars people, that are just like TV people.
Yeah, like, oh, women running a show. What the hell?
Oh no, not that. No. I mean, people that like the stuff I was saying, that it requires you to have watched like 4 seasons of a cartoon and stuff first. I haven't heard Star Wars fans bitching about it, except for the standard like, why are women in my Star Wars people? You know?
I mean, there are those idiots, so
yeah, which fuck those people. But
I'm glad that we finally did this. I'm also glad that I took this ended, then another month, or maybe a month, or close to half a month. I ended up rewatching this whole thing in a week, and I'm glad that in just me not planning, everything worked out. It was the same day I met Ashley Eckstein. So
yeah, that's so cool that you met Ashley Eckstein the same day that you're recording this.
Which wasn't planned. That's the best part. It wasn't like, I mean, again, I make the damn schedule. I could have easily planned this, but I didn't. It just happened.
Now you got to meet Rosario Dawson the day that you record a Rebel. Rebels or
if she came to a convention, I would meet her, but I don't know if she's going to come to a convention that I go to. So
no,
probably not. I mean, there have been big actors have come to Twin Cities Con. I mean, Charlie Sheen came to one of them. I didn't go see him because I'm like, I'm good. I mean, other people, fucking William Shatner came too, and I was like, I'm good. I love Star Trek, but I'm good. You stay right over there, buddy. I don't need to waste money to go see you.
No.
So I mean, we do get some big actors at Twin Cities Con in Minnesota in the last few years, but yeah, it just depends on if it's somebody I actually care enough to go see. And I waited 3 hours for Ashley Eckstein. So hey, that I almost told her, I'm like, I waited 3 hours to meet Robert Englund too. You should be impressed. But I'm like, I don't want to say that. But I thought about it. She might have been impressed. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So, all right, and Kerry, where can people find you at?
Hey, so I am on Twitch and YouTube as Kerooseta, Kerooseta. You can watch me modify and repair video game consoles and play video games as well. Haven't been on it a lot lately, but definitely check that out.
Right, and Barry.
You could find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Fuse at Hawk Hellfire. You could also find me at NintendoFuse.com, as well as PremiumEditionGames.com, where you could pre-order our latest series of titles and pick up a lot of games already in stock.
Right. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's over 550 episodes of this podcast, and I don't even know how many Star Wars episodes there are out there for you to go listen to, but there's a lot. I can tell you that much. So you can find all our work that we do on Podbean, because we have a giant freaking catalog on Podbean. So definitely go check that out. If you want to support the show, there also is a Patreon we have. You can, for as little as $1, you can vote in our Patreon polls. You'll see a link in the show notes to that too. Every month we have a different one to affect the show that will come on the show. And if we do have a Discord, please join the Discord and chat with us. You'll see a link in the show notes to that too. I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Fury. You can follow her on TikTok, and you'll see a link tree to all her stuff that she does. Also, just shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who did the MCU movies with me. Started his own podcast, Gamer Looks at 40. Definitely go check him out. And check out Nomads of Fantasy. You'll see a link to show us everything I just mentioned and what the other guys had mentioned. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, and YouTube. Audio only, but we are on YouTube also. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Have a good one.
Later.